Hi, everyone. Welcome to Blumber Podcast. Today, we have with us someone whose journey truly bridges two worlds: deep clinical care and global patient advocacy. That's Divya Nagpal for us. With over 2 decades in healthcare, she has not only treated thousands of patients but has also been influential in bringing advanced cancer therapies like PDT, that is photodynamic therapy, to India, giving hope to patients even in complex and life like the final stage conditions. And today she continues that impactful work by scaling and or bridging the gap between the international patients who are seeking affordable and durable healthcare, and like at the most positive ways possible in India. And she is working as the AVP at Health Trip. Thanks so much, doctor. And she has helped patients across the globe. And today we are going to listen from her what made the changes and how she's bridging that gap. Divya ji, welcome to Blumber Podcast. It's truly a pleasure having you here.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start. Today, you're working across borders, right? Helping patients navigate healthcare globally. But this started very differently, right? What actually pulled you into the healthcare ecosystem in the first place?
Frankly speaking, it was by chance.
Okay.
It was not planned.
Okay.
So it was a by chance entry into a healthcare ecosystem.
Uh-huh. What was that? What happened?
It was just like that. My father pushed me to give some exams, and then I cleared, and then I came into this uh, clinical side of the practice. That's it. It was by chance.
Okay.
I never had a knack of that. Yes, I want to treat patients or something like that. But yes, it developed later on when I came to medical tourism.
Mm. So, so when you did your MSc and when you went to Germany to get trained in PDT, how was that experience? What made you go to Germany to get the training?
I was chosen out of a lot of people, and it was a new modality of treatment which was coming up for fourth stage cancer.
Oh,
So I
okay.
thought, why not to try it out for an Indian population?
Mm-hmm.
So that pulled me up to get that training for PDT, see how it works, and then come back to India with the same thought process how to treat it, because the settings in in Germany and in India are very different. And there it was an OPD procedure,
Mm.
and in India we were doing as a IPD procedure
Okay.
because the sunlight there is very bright. PDT is a photodynamic therapy procedure which takes care of sunlight. You have to be shielded from the sunlight for a month or so.
Okay. Oh, uh-huh.
So for 4 days, we used to keep the patient in the IPD, get the procedure done, and then cover him and send him in the evening at home,
Mm.
and gradual exposure to sunlight. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like that.
Uh-huh.
But it was worth doing it. I had patients, those who came out with negative biopsies.
Oh, after even in stage four, the patients
And
came
in
out.
stage 4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, so you have spent almost 2 decades in clinical ecosystem, especially in oncology, right? That's pretty intense.
Yes.
That's pretty intense, like emotional and technically very into it. What kept you going through all these for so many years?
It was zeal to treat the patients better because I had seen patients suffering a lot.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to learn about life, I would suggest people to go and sit in a cancer OPD for just a day,
Okay. Okay.
and then you will realize what life is. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just to give them a better way to live life for at least the time which they are there.
Okay. Okay.
So it was that feeling.
Okay. One of the fascinating parts of your journey is that you work with photodynamic therapy. Not many
Yes.
people are know about this, right? Like,
See, I would tell you a lot of when I started PDT, each of the surgeons have read about PDT in their times and this, that. Everyone told me we have read about it, but we never came across this.
okay, okay,
So practically, I was the only one who was authorized by Government of India to operate that laser. It is through a laser.
wow,
So
okay,
I brought it to India. People read about it, people knew about it,
hmm.
but they were not doing it because they didn't have the access to it.
Okay. So today there are a lot of people who are practicing PDT.
No,
Not
there are
many.
a handful of people, those who practice PDT,
Hmm.
that too, again in consultation with us,
Hmm.
with me,
Okay.
because then I'm still the only one who can operate that laser.
Wow. So, is it like the training itself is difficult, or is it like accessibility to that is
Both,
expensive? Both.
both.
Okay. Hmm.
Training is also difficult, and accessibility to that drug is also difficult.
Okay.
That drug is authorized by DGCI, then it gets dispatched, then it reaches the patient, then the patient contacts us that I have received the drug, and then we do the therapy.
Wow.
It is a controlled drug. It is a very specifically controlled drug.
So,
This ways.
okay. You had mentioned like even in the last stage of cancer, people have responded to PDT, and there are a lot of patients,
Yes.
as you said, that went back, happily cleared their biopsies and everything, right?
Yes.
Is there a case where, like a moment in your period of providing this therapy, which has stayed with you and felt that you're doing this because you have, it meant something for the patient, like some moment, like that.
I I had a patient from Rishikesh
Okay.
whom I was treating in Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Hospital with Dr. Diwan.
Ah, okay.
So every time he used to come, get treatment done, become negative, and again after come back after a year.
Ah,
So after 5 years, I called his wife. I said, "What is wrong?"
hmm.
Because it doesn't happen this ways, no. That you treat it successfully, then you come back.
Hmm.
Then the wife told me once he gets treated successfully, he again starts eating tobacco.
Oh, okay. Goes back to eating
So
tobacco.
I told him either you stop eating tobacco or I'm not going to treat you next time. You can live or die because this is not the way I want my patients to be.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that was the last time he got treated, and then he is still hale and hearty. He didn't touch tobacco after that. But it was strange. Every year you come back at the same time. I was like, what is happening around?
Okay. So
This has been with me.
you gave him therapy also to stop tobacco.
Yes.
That's nice. Now, going forward, like you're right now bringing patients from across borders, and you're scaling, like your scale of act has increased in the sense you're accessing patients across borders, and you're ensuring that they get the right kind of treatment in India, and they be provided that kind of treatment also. So, you are still connected with a lot of patients' journeys, but in a very different way. How do you describe what you do now in your own words, doctor? I can call you the very
I
different way.
Bilkul. I basically help people. I handhold people.
Uh huh.
Because when I imagine myself going to another country and getting a treatment done without knowing anybody, it is a very, very difficult task. Not knowing where to pay, not knowing what to do, which doctor to meet. So it's just hand holding of the patients and getting them right treatment in the right pricing and at the right place.
Okay.
So that's what my basically job right now here is.
Nice. So when you do that, because you are an AVP, that's a leadership role. I'm asking you are also training a lot of the people to be part of this journey.
I do have a field force of around 40 to 50 people,
Wow.
and I have trained all of them. But yes, there are a lot of times when I venture into the field and without knowing them, that I should see what is happening around. So I still do that. I am a lot of times on the field, and it is a very noble profession, no?
Yes. Yes.
Getting someone treated who is already in things. So
Yep, yep.
we do a lot of things. We do caps for them. We arrange remains if they need to be sent. Whatever it is in our bandwidth, we do it for them.
Great. So, a lot of people that you are coming across in medical tourism may not know what exactly, as you said, they don't know a lot of things, where to pay, who to approach, and all that. What do you think usually? Like you have seen a lot of patients. What do they not understand most of the times in this space?
Most of the time, see, the language is a big barrier.
Okay. Okay.
If you have patients from Myanmar, if you have patients from Mongolia, the languages are totally different and they don't understand a word of English. So we ensure that there is a translator who is correctly translating their things to the doctor and doctor things to them.
Whoa.
This is one major point which needs to be taken care of.
Okay. Wow.
See, even Google Translator will not work in medical terms.
Yeah.
Even if you put Google Translator in front of the doctor, he will not understand. And if you put Google Translator in front of the patient, he will say, "What is this? I'm not able to understand." So it's very important to have a human who translates it to word,
How do you
so that they
address,
don't
how do you address this? Because not many people will know.
have in-house translators. We
Oh.
have hired in-house translators,
Uh-huh.
and if we don't have a translator, we go and hire a translator of the same language,
Okay.
because it's very important in the important consultations. Translators has to be there.
Okay. It can be like you have languages from across the world,
Yes,
most of the
and
world.
you do get all sorts of translator in India. India is a very famous country. People love to live here.
Yes.
I have a Mongolian who knows Mandarin. I have Burmese. I have a Bangla. I have a what not language I have. We have a French speaking person.
Uh-huh.
We have a Ethiopian speaking person. We have a lot of them.
Awesome. Yeah, India is dynamic that way. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you have people those who know two languages. They will know Bangla also. They will know Arabic also.
Mm-hmm.
They will know Russian also, and they will know Arabic also. So it's good there. We have multilingual people out there.
Yeah, so that kind of solves a lot of problems. Otherwise,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Okay, when a patient actually reaches out to you, especially from another country, what is the biggest challenge that you're dealing with even before the treatment begins? I agree, language is a problem, but beyond that, what else has been a bigger challenge for you?
See, if the patient is coming to India, the bigger challenge is he should not be poached by other unorganized sectors. A lot of poaching happens on the airports.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them, you will see thousands of translators, people roaming about and trying to poach patients. And when patient lands up in these circles, the patient really suffers.
Okay.
So we ensure that we made sure that the patient comes out of the specific gate with the specific number, and we have a person who is there standing out there to pick up the patient.
Uh,
This is one major battle in Indian market. It is very unorganized.
okay, but in airports, how do they poach? I mean, I really did not.
They will look at you, they will understand which country flight has landed, which language you are, and especially if they see a patient in a wheelchair, they understand this is a patient.
Okay, okay. And they simply come and approach the patients without even.
Yes.
And by then, you would have already directed them, right? What they need to do and all that.
Yeah. So that's what I'm no. We make sure that they know which gate they have to come out,
Okay.
which person they have to meet. We exchange photos that this person will be there to pick you up. So we try to manage it this way.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. You recently you mentioned in our previous discussion that you helped a Mauritian who needed a second biopsy surgery. Can you like you helped him with affordable treatment also? So how did
Yeah,
that go?
this patient needed a bypass.
Hmm.
He needed a bypass.
Hmm.
So, and it was a redo bypass.
Redo bypass. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, bypass is done. The first bypass was successful. He survived that bypass for 10 years.
Okay.
Now, again, all those arteries were blocked and he required a redo bypass.
Ah.
So, the kids reached out to me
Uh-huh.
through digital portal,
Okay.
and then they told me to connect to the doctor, and I actually connected to Dr. GK Money and got this patient
Doc
treated under it.
Divyaji.
GK Money.
Divyaji, one second. The recorder did not start for some reason. Can we just have a quick please don't mind
Oh God, the whole.
all of it. Oh,
I have a meeting at 6 o'clock there.
no, it's happening. I'm sorry. I clicked on the wrong window. I'm so sorry. We can continue.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
you were
Just a sec.
about,
Just a sec.
yeah. We'll continue with this particular question.
Yeah, just a sec. I'll also call my.
Yeah.
मैंने आंटी को उठाना पीछे बिल्ली को मार रहा है कोई. Yes, let's start.
Yeah, you recently helped a patient from Mauritius who needed a second biopsy surgery, but he couldn't afford
Second bypass. Bypass.
second bypass. Okay.
You can repeat the whole sentence again. You can edit it.
Okay. You recently helped a
Yes.
patient from a Mauritian, right, who reached out to you for second bypass.
Yes.
He couldn't locally afford it or something like that. How did you help him? What went through there?
See, the patient's kids reached out to me digitally.
Okay.
Redo bypass is not available in Mauritius. They don't have the expertise to do redo bypass.
Okay.
So after they reached out to me, I got their reports. I got it reviewed by Dr. GK Money, who is director Max now,
Oh, okay.
Max Smart,
Mhm.
and he told yes, we can do the bypass, and we got the patient. And there was a very unfortunate or a fortunate incident in this. Before the bypass, we are supposed to do an angiography
Ah,
of the patient.
okay.
We did the angiography. Angiography was okay. Suddenly, the patient had a flatline ECG.
Oh, okay.
For 10 minutes, we were rushing to revive that patient, and guess he came back to life after 10 minutes. He doesn't remember anything of those 10 minutes. And then he went through immediate bypass,
Okay.
and he's still hale and hearty living in Mauritius.
That's it. That would have been scary, right? This 10 minutes of not.
Those 10 minutes of my life were really scary because flatline ECG just in an angiography, it is a very, very strange thing which can happen to anyone.
True, true.
We were talking and he just suddenly drifted,
Hmm.
and suddenly the ECG was blank.
Hmm. My God.
So it was like a scene which happened in the films, no? The ECG is blank, you can see the monitor, it was blank,
Yeah.
and everyone was rushing from one place to another to give him shocks to revive him. So it was scary. But yes, he survived back.
Wow. Your life is no less any movie at all.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Hmm.
One day starts with all sorts of different challenges.
Every day is a challenge. Kind.
Yes, every day is a challenge.
So Divya ji, you have worked with institutions like Fortis and even Memorial Research Institutes, right? And now you're connecting patients globally. How different is this? Like you have been one who was treating patients, now you're connecting patients with the clinicians. How different is this whole thing?
It is just the table on the other side, no?
Okay.
That time we were on the giving end, now we are on the receiving end.
Uh-huh.
And receiving end is better. So
Okay.
you ensure the giving end gives more to the receiving end.
Uh-huh. Okay. What does that mean, receiving and giving end?
See, earlier we were the one who were providing the care.
Okay.
Now we are helping the people to get that care.
Hmm.
So we are connecting clinicians in the manner that they treat the patient respectfully, the way they need to be treated with more compassion,
Mm-hmm.
and yes, in affordable ranges, and yes, whenever they require more help, like suppose I'm stuck up in a situation where I'm not able to pay that amount, I will intervene, request the doctor to bring the fees down, so that at least patient goes back home.
Got it. Got it.
That's it.
Do you think healthcare today is optimized for hospitals or for patients?
Both ways.
So it's
It
all.
is optimized. It is win-win for both.
Ah,
If they work properly, it is win-win for both.
super.
But the systems have to be in place.
So Indian systems, there is a comparison, right? Although the Indian doctors and the medical fraternity itself is well equipped, like well trained and all that, but still the systems are not something that are in place, and there is a lot of work to be done that people are
That's what
always.
I believe. Dear, it's unorganized till yet.
Okay.
A lot of Indian medical tourism is still an unorganized sector. Until and unless we organize this sector, it is going to be like this. See, usually NABH accredits medical tourism companies.
Okay.
We are NABH accredited.
Okay.
But then local translator is not accredited by anyone.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay.
They will just walk in, bring a patient, get the treatment done, take the patient back. So this sector needs to be
Organized.
organized. Then it's going to be a better market.
Understood. Understood. So for organizing this, we still need systems. We need government intervention.
No, it's in process.
It's
The
a,
Indian government is already working on it. It's in process. They are slowly going to make a portal in which only NABH accredited companies would be able to take care of patients.
got it.
Unorganized sector won't be able to. They are in process.
Okay. So Divya ji, you need some water?
No, thank you.
Okay, Divya ji.
Yes.
If I have to understand from end to end process of how this works, can you please guide me in that?
Yes, sure. The patient reaches out to us through different channels.
Okay.
Either it is a digital platform or our offices, which are there in different countries.
Okay.
They would give us their reports. We would send those reports to different hospitals according to either their choice or our expertise that we feel this doctor is the better one. We will provide them with 3 types of quotations from 3 different hospitals and the doctors. And then it is their choice. Once they have their choice, we will get a visa medical invitation letter issued from the hospital and we will apply for their visa.
Visa. Okay.
Once they receive the visa, they share the tickets. We will arrange their pickup from the airport. We will take them to the guest house, and from there, every day they would be taken to the hospital, get the treatment done. We are with them throughout the process. Once treatment finishes, they go back to their own country, and even in their own country, we are in touch with them till the time they require our care.
Understood. So, health hair per se, like when did it start its programs?
Health trip.
Health trip. Sorry, health trip.
Yeah, health trip. We started our basically the launch was in 2018.
Okay.
Then in COVID, we went down slow
Okay. Okay.
because COVID everybody went down slow.
Yeah.
But yes, then we rebounced back in 2021.
Okay. And you have
Earlier we were known by the name of Hospulse.
okay.
Now it is Health Trip.
Oh, hospice. Okay, I have heard about hospice. Yeah.
Hospulse.
Yeah.
Hospulse.
Hos.
Pulse.
Hos.
Your hospital pulse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Then we became Health.
yeah. So you have been with Health Trip right from the beginning.
No, I joined them in 2021.
Okay. Nice.
Since then, I'm there with them.
Yeah. Now, if you look back, Divya ji, from treating patients directly to now enabling care for them globally, what has the journey taught you about healthcare and about people like across the globe?
People are very simple.
Hmm.
Just treat them like humans. That's it. They're not money minting machines. If you treat them like humans, they respond to you the way they should respond to you.
That's so beautiful. That's
Yes.
beautiful. Yeah. Great, Divya ji. I totally understand that you have a lot more to share, but I suppose you are also wanting to step to the next meeting.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today in between your busy schedule. And it was really an eye opening for me, at least, because I do not know much about medical tourism, although I'm reading about it. But yes, as you said, there's a lot to be done in the space, and a lot of
Yes.
organization has to happen. Thanks so much for being here, for helping us understand all this, and thank you for bringing PDT into India. And I really hope that this knowledge is shared across, and you again treat patients with PDT. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me here. Thank you.
Great to have you. Nice.
Same here.
Have a
Thank you.
nice day, doctor. Bye.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.